2022 edition of Chart Watch and new release news from Now Spinning magazine. So as you know, in this little videos I try and do weekly, we just look at what's happening in the UK album chart and just give you some useful stats, and then pick out some bands that I know that people who subscribe and to this YouTube channel and also visit the Now Spinning magazine website might be interested in, and touch on some release news might be useful, and tell you what's coming up. Anyway, let's dive in. So the number one album this week is by the 1975, who also have at least three tracks in the top singles chart as well. And just as a matter of kind of comparison, UK singles, the number one single this week by Sam Smith and Kim Petras is 59,493, of which 57,152 are streaming sales, which I went into detail last week about how many streams you need to equate to a sale of a single track, a single in old money. And I'll be doing an analysis on how we equate streaming to an album sale in next week's edition. I haven't got time to do it this week, but that is coming. So number one in the album chart this week is the 1975, with the album Being Funny in a Foreign Language. And this week's sales to get to number one were 40,962. Now, those of you who watch this every week will know that that is higher than what the numbers we've been seeing recently. In fact, it's nearly 20% higher. I think around the time that Ozzy Osbourne got to number two, we had a couple of number ones around either side of that, which I think got to number one with sales of about 15,000 to 20,000 copies and got them to number one. Very different this week, because the 1975, as I said, have had nearly 41,000 sales, which is superb. Now, the difference here, because what we've been seeing recently is that CD sales have been like literally 90%, with a smidgen of vinyl, cassettes and whatever, and hardly any streaming. So albums are very different. The album chart is very different to the singles chart. But this is different with the 1975. Out of that 41,000, 12,500 were CDs and 15,255 were vinyl albums, and 4,283 were cassettes. Now I'm going to stop giving that raised eyebrow look when I mention the word cassettes, because obviously it's growing. So what do I know? And there were 1,240 downloads and 7,763 streams prior to the release of the physical product itself. So yes, physical was 32,000. So literally 32,000 out of 40,000 were physical sales. But this time, vinyl was ahead of CD just a little bit. Number two is the Red Hot Chili Peppers with their new album called Return to the Dream Canteen. And to get to number two was 12,373 sales. So very different to the number one position. Alter Bridge, another rock band, they got to number 6 in the charts with 5,861 sales. And the Unthanks, I love them. They're like a folky type pop band. They've done, I think they did the soundtrack to a couple of TV series I really like as well, which has escaped me at the moment. But they've gone in at number 26 with 2,699 sales. See how it literally goes right down when you start to zoom out of still in the top 30. And the other ones I look at, and this is Gun, who are at number 52 with the Carlton Songs. And this is on Cherry Red Records. Good for you, Cherry Red Records. Cherry Red Records, of course, as I feature a lot on this channel with all their fantastic box sets, are actually in the charts with a new release by that great band called Gun. And to get to number 52 this week was 1,898 sales. And the other band I just wanted to mention was Skid Row. Now, I wasn't such a fan of Skid Row at the time, but the new guy, the vocalist who was previously in Heat from Sweden, is now their lead vocalist, and he is absolutely superb. Nothing against the other version of Skid Row, but I just love this, I loved Heat. Great band. So they have actually arrived at number 67 in the charts with 1,731 sales. So that's the kind of look at the album chart this week. Overall, albums themselves, there's been more physical albums sold, nearly 300,000 this week compared with last, which was 257,000, so an increase of 16.4% in physical album sales this week, which is fantastic. And the other thing that's interesting is overall, physical album sales are roughly the same as they were this time last year, give or take a bit. But downloads have gone down by 17.1%. And streaming has gone up by 17.7%. So checking out things, and I'm the same. You know, I love my music, but if something new comes out, I'll always go and try and stream it first to give it a spin, using technology before I go and buy the actual copy. So all good stuff. So what's happening in new release land? Last week I featured some physical things that I'm actually reviewing. This time these are things that I don't have, but I probably will be reviewing in the future, plus some extra news items as well. Cat Stevens, Catch a Bullet 4, 50th anniversary edition. That's coming out very soon. Now, Joni Mitchell, the Asylum albums 1972 and 1975 is out. Now, I mention this because there is a fault, and it seems to be global, that on Court and Spark, on tracks 4 and 5, they merge together and then track 5 repeats itself. There's a pressing error on one of those discs. So I don't know whether it's universally on everything, but I've seen the reviews on Amazon, and other people in the Now Spinning Facebook community have also mentioned it. So be aware, if you buy the Joni Mitchell one, to listen to that disc and tell me if there's a problem on discs 4 and 5, Court and Spark. Okay, Jim Croce has a 50th anniversary with Don't Mess Around with Jim. Tina Turner, Break Every Rule. That's a 3 CD, 2 DVD box set coming out. We know about the Queen one, and thank you for all your support with the Queen review I did on their new single featuring Freddie Mercury. There's a Cheap Trick Live at the Whiskey 1977 4 CD box set coming out. I don't know if that's one of those grey releases at this time. Dokken, love them. Great Dokken fan. The Electra albums 4 CD box set. I don't know any more details than that. There's no extra tracks on it, I know that much. Now, they've recently been released by, well, not recently, in rock and roll terms is recent, by Rock Candy, who did a superb job. So I don't know what the difference will be on those, and the fact there's only 4 and it's BMG, that makes me wonder whether it'll be a small booklet just with photos in it. So I don't know enough about that, but you know, I suppose what we'd really want to see is Dokken, the complete album box set, wouldn't we? Really? That's really what the fans would probably want, with some live stuff added to it. But anyway, that's inbound. Renaissance, Live at Fillmore West and Other Adventures, 4 CD, 1 DVD set on Repertoire Records, good label. Jerry Garcia, Live Volume 19 from Oakland, 1992. Jerusalem, expanded remaster on Talking Elephant UK. Now, that's a Jerusalem, I think, was produced by, it's a band from the very early 70s. I think it was produced by Ian Gillan. So there's a lot of collectability around that. And so I am interested in listening to that from a historical point of view. And John Mellancamp Scarecrow, Super Deluxe Edition, 2 CD, 1 Blu-ray disc, and an LP box set. So mixed format there to the max. And that's due as well. Other stuff is Joanne Shaw Taylor, Nobody's Fool, which guess Joe Bonamassa, who else? Lee Aaron has got a new album out. She's gone back to being her rock roots. Devin Townsend, Lightwork, 2 CD, 1 Blu-ray disc set. Rival Sons, love them. New album out called Dark Fighter, that comes out very soon as well. And Bruce Springsteen's got his covers, soul covers album coming out. And The Damned, remember them? From those heady punk days. A Night of 1,000 Vampires, live in London, 2 CD, 1 Blu-ray disc set, also due. And I think that's everything I've got on my sheet for this week. So, thank you for watching. Thank you to Clive, Yogi, Chris and Andy and all my patrons and all of my supporters. And please subscribe if you've just discovered Now Spinning Magazine. Ring that little notification bell. Check out the website. Check out the Facebook community as well, which is a private group. There are only 40 spaces left before I close that. for keeping it to 1,000, because it's a community, and I just want to keep it, like that. And it's just full of music fans. But thank you for watching. Keep safe. Keep spinning those discs. Take care, everybody, and I shall see you very, very soon.